I don't know what I can say to justify this delay. I forgot to continue the render, and that is the easiest way. Two-part reviews, they build suspense so you can feel it in your bones. But I was downstairs with my brother, and we were watching Game of Thrones, so we're late again. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The butter punch is late again. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It is done. I traveled down this road, and once it's begun, you shouldn't stop the load. A point of confusion. A thought that strikes like an inopportune intrusion. Is why does rendering take ages with no convolution? My GPU should be able to handle resolution. Oh well, we're late again. Oh, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 we're late again. No schedules to be kept. We're late again. No schedules to be kept. Welcome or welcome back. I'm Jacob.
I'm Aiden.
And together we are
The Butter Bunch.
So yeah, that was based on a true story. I was generally watching Game of Thrones with my brother today, and I forgot to render Act 2 of this stream, and that was the cause of the delay. So there you go.
How dare you, Jacob? Shame.
I know. You know, I was gonna turn the ring light off and turn the regular lights on, but I actually like this format. I feel like it kind of fits for honestly anything Hatchetfield. I'm gonna keep it like this, even though I'm sweating buckets now thanks to the ring light. But you know, I'll just ignore it for now.
By the way, speaking of rendering, I need you to record and render something before you leave.
And I will do so. That happens in 5 days. So you know, there's been other stuff going on that's kind of
which you know, some of the stuff going on, for example, was D&D yesterday. So if you want to go check out the stream, it's on this channel.
That is true. So a D&D session that I took part in after with two hurting arms as I acquired 3 vaccines in the course of one day. So
oh yeah, over the course of 2 arms, not just one. Dang.
Oh well, I mean, it was 2 in one arm and 1 in the other. You know, it was distributed.
Some vaccines leave you rather sore after you get it, so it's quite awful sometimes.
I was actually told one of the side effects was a heavy arm, so that was one of the ones in the right arm because it's my non-dominant one. Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Mysteries of Volta, check it out. It's a D&D series hosted by me. There is Scooby-Doo in it, and Scooby-Doo is also possessed by Satan.
There was a pup named Scooby-Doo in the most recent one, and that was a really fun one.
But he also, but at the same time, he was a plush named Scooby-Doo too.
Okay, that's because of the PNGs that we use.
Yeah, I know, but it'd be funny to call him plush.
Yeah, I'll say this about Occulta. Like, one of the things that I'm trying to do to differentiate it from like other live plays, because I'm the one who's in charge of the streams. Aiden's the DM, I do the stream part. Is have, you know, everyone using like PNG tubers and having them like on the screen, editing them in real time to have like backgrounds so you can actually see, like, you can actually visualize it a little bit, you know, so you're not just bored watching. A lot of live play struggle with that kind of thing if the chemistry isn't all right. Not saying the chemistry isn't right here, it absolutely is, but you know, you don't know that going in, so that's why there it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, so speaking of things that have been done a lot, and we weren't sure if the chemistry was going to match. We're back with the guy who didn't like musicals.
The guy who didn't like musicals, didn't like.
That sounds like a That sounds like a Western theme march. Like anyway, I don't know. 1 second, let me put you in the
I
oh
am dead.
left.
I
Sorry.
am not dead.
I switched. Sorry, you can't tell there, but I switched over. I thought I had the video loaded, but I had to I left because I realized I didn't have my mic turned on. So I need to fetch it quickly. Here it is. All right, yeah, Act 2. Yeah, Act 2, freshly rendered, brought to you by JB Productions, on a channel.
AKA
found
Jacob
the name of.
Butters Productions. I'm kidding. That's a joke.
I would, as much as I would love to be in the Guided Language Schools at some point. I'm not sure who I would play because they all swear, but I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. Are we allowed to technically edit out the swearing or make the swearing not exist?
You
In
would think so.
adaptation?
Well, yeah. Considering that in this production they changed Mr. Davidson's motivation, much to the chagrin of everyone. It does seem like there is liberty involved in that. And I will also say, from the Trail to Oregon version I was going to show you, that one actually does include a few key changes as well. But we'll get to that when we actually review the original Trail to Oregon.
If you were to play a character like Paul, actually, you'd probably be better for a character that sang throughout the musical instead of the last act.
Honestly, considering what I just did there with that song, I would definitely want to be I definitely would love to be General McNamara. That information is classified. Anyway, yeah.
Honestly, you would also be a pretty good Higgins as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Although, yes, some of his stuff I don't think works nearly as well when he doesn't swear involving it. So we will, and I will point those out once we get to it, because it's going to happen relatively soon, if I recall correctly. So let's go ahead and get to it. Without further ado, on with the review. And again, they've added the Nightmare Time sting that wasn't here originally. Even though this is where that sting came from.
If they find us, who finds Alice? I'm sorry, she's all I have,
Okay. Ow!
Hold on, I can't hear anything. I'm just gonna. I forgot to put this up. Yeah. Also, ignore the comments I was putting. I was gonna put the lyrics in the chat, and I realized that it's just not good. I'll wait until there's a pinned comment or something, because people seem to enjoy. So, did I just? I accidentally put user in timeout myself, as I can't do that for a channel moderator. Well, thank goodness. Okay,
Go in timeout, Jacob.
Continuing, we got to look what happens. Nightmare Time, indeed. Speaking of.
She's a good kid.
Oh God, this is not your seed. Not your seed.
I respect her choices.
That's one advantage you have over BB. Whenever I ask BB if she recognizes a piece of music or like something from that's been built up already, she always just gives me 1,000 yards of like, why do you do this to me?
Listen, if I like something, I know everything about it.
This is true. I can vouch for us.
For being honest, I don't like that. I don't know. She's always on her phone. I just think Alice could do better. Yeah, sure.
Dang.
Yeah, Bill seems a lot more subdued in this act. Like I remember, particular, Corey being like, I don't like Deb. Like he's letting it out. Let it out, let it out, let it out. I know, I heard it the moment I said it. But yeah, in this sense, he's conversational, which is sort of the point, but not in the way that Bill usually was. Even this version of Bill, I don't think.
This morning, the knucklehead I am, I said, well, why don't you try dating someone from your own school? And she responded, she said, well, you just don't like that. What am I supposed to do, lie? So I said, why don't you try dating someone like Grace Chastity?
Oh, God.
Yeah, when that line was originally raised, obviously no one knew who Grace Chastity was, but unfortunately, yeah. I think this actually did come back in Working Boys briefly. Well, I think Bill was in that one. They interacted for a second, but I might be misremembering.
Because wasn't she sitting next to Pete? She was sitting next to Pete and maybe the cop guy, I think, in Working Boys.
And
don't
this is
know.
this is what going back to what Aiden said before about knowing everything about the certain
I
thing.
don't
So,
think
yeah.
she actually directly interacted with Bill in that one, or at least I don't remember a Bill interaction.
Yeah, and also you're right. Bill would definitely not want that in this in this situation, but he doesn't know better. That being said, he should have imitated her a little bit of like Grace Chastity is a nerdy prude, because that's one of like the big stings that was, I remember when Nerdy Prudes Must Die originally premiered. That was like the big line that everyone was commenting, even before. I say before we knew that Grace Chastity was there, but I guess because I ignore trailers, I didn't know before I knew Grace Chastity was in there.
And only you.
Okay, so Shinji was there, Bill was with Ted. Okay. Well, I mean, have you been? Did you look at the Cinderella's Castle trailers before we reviewed that?
I saw the first one, I want to say, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I always, if I'm really into a project coming out, I'll usually watch the first 3 trailers and then I cut myself off. I used to be one of those people that watched every trailer and spot that came out, and then Marvel started overdoing it, and that's whenever I figured out I can't anymore.
Yeah, I
so.
seem to, I seem to recall. I don't know if it was you, but I know it was somebody in our friendship group that was that like every time that time a trailer when it came out for like an individual MCU film, it's like they've dropped this new trailer, this new trailer leaked or something. We've got an extra 20 seconds of footage. Wow. In a 3-hour movie. Thank you.
That sounds like what I used to do. Yeah. It's just, but like ever since Phase 4 started, they really just started pumping out so much, and it revealed, and I was just, I can't anymore. I was like,
Yeah.
3 and then I'm done.
Yeah, I think that was still Phase 3. I think it was one of the Spider-Man ones, but I could be wrong.
That checks out, yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, I said date someone like her. And second of all, that's not a very nice thing to say about someone. And suddenly, I'm defending Grace Chastity of all people.
Oh, so see, he still has that little bit of self-awareness that people don't like Grace.
Like, you just wish Grace Chastity was your daughter. And I'm like, at least she's nice to me at church. Paul, I think that fight is the reason why she got off the bus today to go see Dad.
I think another reason why I'm not so keen on like this on this moment from Bill is because he's so stiff at the moment. Like it's not like Bill originally, given like the age of the character, was like that like vibrant, but there was still something going. He was still either gesturing, his vocal inflections were up and down. Here it's more, it's because like, and then when it came to this moment, that's when you get the contrast of, suddenly the realization that might be the moment that she decided to get off the bus. Like that's suddenly where it clicks for him, and that's why he's still. It doesn't work if he's still the whole way through.
Oh, Paul, it's my fault she's here.
No,
It's because of me.
Bill, this is not your fault.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Alice!
Dad, it's all your fault.
wow.
Oh, okay, this is new. I like this new, actually. That being said, this would be a perfect moment to get apotheoses, but anyway.
That was the last thought that I had before they broke down the door.
Oh,
Yeah, because remember, like in the original one, she's already in that hive mind state. It's like, yes, it is. It's all your fault. This is all your fault, Jafar. Basically.
I'm just saying this is giving vibes to some Doctor Who bits, because sometimes the Daleks convert a human to be like partially Dalek. They like this weird eye poking out of their head and stuff. But God, like y'all like some moments where like it happened with 2 characters. One of them, she was like, "Oh yeah," and that was the thought before I die. That's what I was screaming before they broke in. And it's like, oh wait a minute. Oh yeah, I died. Still that moment where it's like, and then the eye pops out of their head. It's like, oh,
It's like,
so
oh yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, I died. Oops, I got murdered. I forgot about that part.
now all I'm thinking is how funny it would be to have like a Dalek version of this song. I'm not your girl anymore.
Oh God, Dalek coming soon, guys.
I overtook her body with an infectious spore.
Well, okay, I will say that there is kind of you have to tweak that a little bit, because the Daleks, I don't
I
think
went a bit too fast, actually.
Yeah.
I overtook her body with an infectious spore. There you go. That's more their speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like lines like that probably work, but some of the lines probably like they can't do the full song, I imagine, because like Daleks, Because like there's some times where like you will see someone turn into a Dalek, and it's very clear the few times you get their perspective, and it's a lot of what the Daleks are saying isn't actually what they're saying. There's
I've
a
actually
non-zero. Yeah,
I've
there's
actually seen clips of this, but you know, the point is the point of the Dalek cover scenario is that what you hear from the Dalek themselves is the cover. It doesn't matter what the other person would be saying at that point.
Exterminate.
Sure, it just seems like it just seems like they have a pretty like limited vocabulary, you know.
I mean, I don't.
They
I
can
guess they have a
say
limited
like
regular
they can
vocabulary.
say like 5 phrases. Clara,
Okay. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of like that's one.
She can only say 5 phrases.
It's kind of like one thing of like you know, I remember there was a purple Shep cover of Let It Go actually,
Oh,
and that
God.
yes,
Purple Shep says, "Let it go, let
a
it
kingdom
go."
of isolation. Oh golly, what does that even mean? So that was the lyric change. But yeah.
Not your girl anymore.
Oh, there's the follow spot. I forgot about that from last time.
That you drove here for.
It's pointing towards Bill. Point it at Alice.
Well, I imagine the idea is to point it at Bill's reaction, but like it is pointing at Alice if you're actually looking at how much is covering the like she's getting way more light than Bill is.
Is she? I think that's mostly Bill's shadow that's being like is being projected.
I can very clearly see a horizontal slant slicing Bill's head in half. Yeah, she's getting more light.
No, I'm pretty sure Bill's getting the most light here.
He's not. I can literally see them.
The horizontal slant actually might be from the triangle blocking the follow spots.
I overtook her body.
Or just his hair.
I overtook her body with infectious spore.
You left me out of your sight for 1 second, and one nightmare time. It's worse than you could.
Okay, I can't. See, I was willing. Okay, I was able to defend them for doing Bill because, like, that has enough thematic resonance. It's like maybe it's his reaction. Why are they pointing at him though?
Yeah, like I said, it does seem like they're in a perfect. Maybe because it's the camera perspective. Maybe the follow spot that operator is actually from their perspective seeing it. Because I remember I actually at one point did operate a follow spots in sixth form, and it was actually towards the side of the of the back theater. They hadn't even put it in the middle, so maybe that's what they're dealing with here is trying to predict exactly where the audience will see it or the camera will see it, and then not being able to do so. I don't know.
Not sex and not drugs, just alien invading minds. No more family vacays together, 'cause you're only daughters under the weather. And if you actually paid attention to me, you see I'm not your seed, I'm not your angsty teen. No matter what
Also, it's a Fortnite dance.
the apples falling far from the tree.
I do actually think that this Alice brings like something different enough. Like, when it comes to musical performances, a lot of things they train to do is act through song rather than try to be like as vocally perfect as can be. Basically, if you can do both, then fantastic. But the acting part is what trips a lot of musical performers at large in general up. And in this case, going into a bit more of the speeches like "I have a cup party with him." Like, I can't remember exactly which point it happened, but it was somewhere. I think it was the nighttime part.
I remember we talked pretty extensively about that concept in Cinderella's Castle.
Oh, fair enough then. I'm consistent.
It's not my fault anymore. No more curfews to be late for.
That being said, their problem right now is the fact that they're so still. This looks like an episode of not ballet pops, of jazz pops. Wrong series.
It's not my fault anymore. No more being worried and waiting by the door. Didn't you know that I wanted to live with you?
I see Paul's movie now.
When you needed to fight, you gave her that too. Did you know Mama let Dad sleep over? And you're right about Dad, she's a hardcore stoner. And if you
Okay, at that point, Bill's supposed to say, I knew it, I think.
wonder would let your daughter astray. Well, Daddy wasn't here to stay. I'm not your seed. I'm not your perfect teen. I'm fucking 17. At least I was before you left me.
Ah, the line that confused me in the original, and then people yelled at me in live chats.
Bill, we have to go right now.
Oh, we're not leaving without Alice.
Okay. Right. So, in terms of blocking this, why, oh why, would you block it so that Paul is saying we have to leave, we're not leaving without Alice, with Alice in the middle of them? Like, maybe there's some symbolism of her driving a wedge between their two goals, but from a survival perspective, Bill being aside
Yeah,
the
we
first
complained
time,
about that quite a bit last stream.
that's true, yeah. But like, the sort of survival aspect and narrative aspect, Bill being pulled aside or, you know, being aside when that happens and not realizing, I think at this point, like, was this when the gun got dropped? I think it was maybe somewhere around this. It doesn't matter either way. That at least gives some plausible idea that they could escape if Bill wanted to in that moment. Ironically enough,
So-
this is actually something that I complained about in one of a series written by Aiden and co-written by me actually. When it came to like Fallen Angels, there's a particular scene where, again, a character is about to is about to face off with against this one person so that another one can escape. The problem is that the blocking makes it seem like the person just, you know, waiting patiently just off to like the slight side in order to just hearing the entire plan and could have easily prevented it if, you know, things were to go the other way. So unfortunately, it's not here to remember that scene. But anyway, he knows what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
I don't remember if this was the case in the original. If it was, then I'll complain about it there too retroactively. I like it's not objectively wrong to do it this way, but I don't them introducing the seats and the chairs and having her stand on top of it. That's fine, but I don't like that she gets down midway through and then she doesn't really get back on top, right? Because generally the language of cinematography, this happens on cameras where it points it up, but obviously in stages you have to have them literally be taller. Where it's generally meant to be like the symbolic representation of them being at a higher point of power by being literally at a higher like point.
This is actually why
And-
stage used to be slanted slightly. That's why you have like the language of upstage and downstage. It was literally up and down. And that was also used for power purposes.
Yeah. And so they had her stand on top of it. But then she gets down halfway. And this is before the other two even join her. And it's like, I feel like you're like, this is supposed to be going up, but the fact that you did that when you did and then didn't bring it back feels like you're then lowering her to a point that I don't think makes sense.
In this next part of the song, it will make sense, but maybe not beforehand.
Bill, that's not your daughter anymore.
Something high gut. Yeah, okay.
Why does it hurt to love you? Why
You say that, but now that you mention that, maybe that really was just like a tongue-in-cheek joke from Lucas about that concept.
Potentially, yeah.
Why does it hurt to know you let me down again? If I turn my insides out, would you even know that I was there?
Maybe blue
Why
or
does
green.
it hurt to love? Why does it hurt to love?
I said this before in the original version, but hey, you know, if we did end up, for some reason, licensing this or putting on a performance, that's one of the lines that I would change. I feel like it makes more sense to be like, why does it hurt to love you? Why does it hurt to care? Because the line before that is, would you know I was there? It's like, that always to me is like, that feels like the natural. Anyway.
Yeah,
Not just
I-
me, not just girl.
I think that comes into like how are you interpreting this bit? Because okay, on one hand, and follow me here. Don't I know it's gonna sound weird in the road there.
Alright, I'll follow spot you
Yeah,
from an angle.
just not too bright. But her having that, because you're right? It makes more sense to do it the way you're doing, but I think having it not do that represents like almost like the idea of like the more humanistic and like not so much like musically inclined aspect is taking more control, which I think is interesting from like an emotional angle. However, they make a point that these entities are meant to be like perfect at singing and stuff, so it doesn't make a ton of sense post apotheosis. However, there's also the fact that there's that vulnerable moment immediately contrasted by this, which seems to imply that maybe there was a point where she was having a little bit of control and it's not super clear.
Yeah, maybe, or it was part of the deceit. The way that I interpreted that, this part and the whole song at large is that it's all meant to. It's all a guilt trip. It's all attempting to, elicit that response and get Bill's guard down. Which, of course, given the fact that she was, right in his face before this point happened, also blocking wise, kind of circumvents that. But we've already talked about that. Yeah, in this case, I felt like it's always the case, like she's pretending to be vulnerable and luring him in. And I do wonder if this if this species is even physically capable of pulling off such a con or not. I don't know.
No, right. That's the thing. Like, if that's the case, I don't think, like, based on the rules that we've established, it feels like if this were a detective show, the clear tell whether they're conning you or not is whether or not they have a perfect rhyme there, right? So, like,
even Hitchens. Even Hitchens points out that them singing terribly, whatever like thing that they were requested to sing, is a sign that they're still human, implying that the spores like can't even mimic the idea of bad singing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just think that bit's too interpretive to make like an objective like this is a bad point of writing.
Okay.
I just wish my complaint is not necessarily that. My complaint is that I wish it was clear what the intent there was.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess going back to originally for me, like it's like it's not the worst thing ever or anything. It's just something that I personally would have changed. Much like a lot of these things that we point out in our reactions at large.
Listen to me, after you let me bleed. But your daughter's not a girl.
Oh, was that cute little? Was that little like leg lift in the original? I don't remember that. That was really cute.
Cause I'm not your girl anymore.
Someone's watched Princess Diaries.
I don't think I can do it, Paul. Bill, we gotta go. I can't live in a world without my.
Okay, this is where the gun gets dropped. My bad from earlier. I think the rhyme was pain. Was pain again? Should rhyme, but English is silly. It depends on your accent, and when you're singing, that's
Well, no, and that's the thing. Whenever you're doing songs, oftentimes you have to like bend pronunciation a little bit, and so it's very common. Like no matter the accent, it's very common for them to do it this way, just because it theoretically could work. It's just not how it's actually said in the real world in most cases. But yeah, I mean,
I can actively vouch here that most of my British friends suddenly become American when they sing.
Yeah.
But myself included most of the time. There are very few exceptions to that. Like there are some songs that are like that people have just collectively agreed are sung with like the most like heightened posh British accent of all time, but they're few and far between in comparison.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're going for the pain again thing, you should really, feels like if that's not happening, that should have come up much sooner in rehearsals.
I know, she knows, I'm not fond of asking. Anyway.
You gotta go right now.
I can't go on knowing of the reason they got her.
No, Bat, let me do it, Paul. Just let me die. No.
There we go.
No, Bill. You're my best friend. I'm not gonna let you die.
I forgot the audience haven't seen the original, so not all of them. So yeah.
You gotta of course have the awkward little like orange thing that's really like obvious to show this not a real gun.
Yeah, which I don't think they had in the original, but
I don't remember that. I don't know what allows
for,
normal theaters to get away with it, but I know in schools and stuff you're not able to do it because, well, to put it bluntly, school shootings.
we know this is taking place in the university, so you know that's probably why.
Oh my God, Bill!
Yeah, well, it's just that you would think, given like the general like political landscape, that would be like a rule in a lot of places. So I don't really know how theaters get away with doing it so often, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm yeah. Think about this from a place where that's not as much of a political hot point. It's been known to happen, but not nearly as much. Yeah, I think there's that I think there's some sort of like process you have to do. Is like, okay, by the way, we're doing this performance. It contains this prop. Like I think you
is
filed
there
that
like
somewhere,
a
but I could be
license or
wrong.
something?
I think there is. It's not something that's was often like talked about in front of in front of us, the performers, but something that they handles behind the scenes, so to speak.
Yeah.
We just keep running into each other, don't we, Paul? We have traveled across seas of stars, bending countless civilizations to our will. And yet you, Paul, have defied us thrice.
Shit!
Much like Saint Peter.
I will say
Oh, so that
I
was
remember
point blank. How did she miss? The blocking in this entire scene is just so off.
This puny
you know
human
the script
weapon.
says so. But
Guess is we have been foiled by their script.
yeah. You say that. I just realized we missed yet again in the last episode the curse you foiled my plans again, you meddling kids or whatever. So
Oh my God. Okay, well, to be fair, we kind of murdered that person.
That's true. They didn't have much of a chance.
They kind of just died and became a door.
They literally got Saitama'd.
But I will say, leave it to the Butter Bunch crew, by the way, just saying. But also, I don't.
The DM is the one who's the most keen to emphasize that line, so.
I remember this was a thing that I rather enjoyed in the original too, actually. It's a weird touch, but having them say thrice there is a really nice touch that adds just a little bit of alienation that really gives them the cosmic feel that they needed.
In a true role reversal from the usual person who points the stuff out, I'm going to say there could have possibly been a little bit of a biblical inspiration behind that. Because again, St. Peter defied Jesus thrice, after his crucifixion, actually. So,
yeah,
you never know.
It's too quick a death for you, Paul.
Oh, speaking of D&D, hello, Flora.
We shall rend you limb from finger. We shall rend you limb from nipple.
Okay, this they've heightened. Like, it was all synonyms before, but I don't think they went like this extreme, but I love this. Also, the last scene that we left on was what was Paul going with Bill to find Alice, saying like, there's a moment where one must draw a line, and I will never be in a musical. And, this is the result of that, basically. So you have this much.
I forgot about that one person with the high voice in the crowd that's enjoying this show way more than everyone else in the audience that was there last episode.
Every Starcade production has at least one of those. Almost every theater production has at least one of those. I've been that person sometimes.
We all have to be in unison. I'm here. We shall rend you limb from limb. You will choke on your agony as you beg for apotheosis.
Oh no, we have to wait and turn around and retreat from Paul so we don't actually reach him. I think originally the army actually came down from the audience, so maybe they weren't able to do that because they had a gap.
By the way, one thing that always confused me about Coyote and like musicals is when did the army get infected?
Off screen. Or off stage, I guess.
When did that happen? Like I don't even think we were given like
in between this scene and when we see them next.
Yeah,
I want to tell you here.
But they took Paul after this to take Paul to their base. So were they infected, taking Paul to their base to chill?
Yeah, I mean things happen very fast. I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
by
no,
this.
well, I mean, they also
they never did take Paul to
Oh.
their base because, but he never made it But by the time that they said the chopper was going to arrive to take him somewhere, that's when they were already infected. And I will say, not everyone got infected like on stage aside from them anyway. We didn't see Sam get infected. We didn't see Greenpeace Girl. We didn't see Mr. Davidson either.
Yeah, we know this happens at a very like wide
Almost
range. Yeah, I mean, we know this happens at a very wide scale very quickly. Like,
Yeah, but I just found it kind of confusing, like when the army exactly got infected, because I don't know. I feel like we should at least saw what caused them to get infected, or at least had a moment of foreshadowing, being like,
we did get a
oh.
moment of foreshadowing. It was right before this scene, whenever they said we have sailed across the stars, or whatever, and made countless civilizations bend to our will. Like, did you need any more foreshadowing than that? Yeah, they can just do this. I don't see why not.
Yeah, although in the spirit of finding out, once we get to the end of the army scene, I'll make note of the timestamp, and then we'll do the calculation and see how long they've how long of a gap there was.
Whoa! Grenade!
And you have just
And in true
killed-
classic Star Kid fashion, that on like establish the thing you're doing. Shut it, rib, broken tibia.
And you just gunned down a bunch of teenagers. Big oof.
Yes. Well, I mean, they're already dead. Remember, they're as Ted said, there are no good people, bad people. There's people who are alive and people who are dead.
Okay, yeah, but they look like teenagers, which I feel like that makes it extra, like, I feel like I would feel still uncomfortable being like, you still look like a teenager, so
They're
I don't really
eldritch
want to
abominations
hurt you.
from space. Why would
So-
anyone care?
Also, this is the U.S. military. Have you seen the Vietnam images?
Yeah, proof it through the army. Bam!
Have you seen the last few months?
I had to stop tuning into the last few months of my own sanity.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Like, I don't normally talk about politics, and I'm not going to continue.
Sure. Yeah, I know a lot of people that have tried tuning out. I just don't feel great about doing that, given that I'm one of the targeted demographics.
I remember there was like one person who commented on a Walking Wednesday of mine, unrelated to to anything in the Walking Wednesday video. I think they asked me a question about what I thought about Israel something, and I was like, I'm not even going to respond to this. Why? Why are you asking me this question?
Probably just trying to see if their favorite YouTuber or whatever is a fan of genocide or not.
That wasn't even the point they brought up.
Oh wait, really? Okay, I figured that's going to be the hot button topic they would have talked about in regards to that country.
I guess it was somewhat related, but
Remarkable. Tell me, Anna, how do you explain it in tiny?
also, yes, that is there's the inevitable instrumental.
Okay.
You're right. I was too distracted to point out the background music this time. BB escaped my wrath this time.
An entire species spontaneously breaking into song and dance. How do they know the lyrics? The choreography?
Because they're a
I
hive
don't know,
mind.
they're getting orders from the mothership.
They're a hive mind.
Well, yes, but all hive minds receive orders from somewhere.
What we're dealing with here is a collective consciousness. On one hand, they're individuals. On the other, they're an appendage of a much larger organism.
I don't remember if it was played in the OG or not, actually.
Combined at the central brain.
And the brain came down in the meteor.
Or it is the meteor.
And it wants to kill us all and resurrect us as part of its shitty musical.
Well,
It's a pretty good musical as far as I'm concerned.
one way of looking at it.
Yeah, it's not resurrecting you as Mamma Mia for sure. Like that would be a shitty musical.
In fact, it destroyed Mamma Mia to get to this point.
Let's
Yeah,
say
that moment
is-
when the apotheosis comes and everyone says that they want to be in the room where it happened.
Yeah. No, you know what? Actually, you know how like Starco are doing a reprise. Actually, I wonder if they're going to make a joke and say "Mamma Mia, here I go again" at some point.
His entity did spread all across the world. It would achieve the thing that 500,000 years of humanity couldn't even comprehend.
excuse me, hold on, 500,000. Homo sapiens have been around for 200,000 years, Higgins.
World peace.
Well, okay, if you want to talk about human beings, technically Homo sapiens weren't the only ones, but
Okay.
But how do you
again, I still
stop
don't
it?
think 500,000, but like maybe a little more than like the Homo sapiens.
Yes. How do we stop it?
Well,
You know, Higgins, if you don't want somebody who has actively been, you know, terrorized by this, by this, you know, apotheosis to undermine these plans, you might not want to reveal everything to them. Even Doofenshmirtz learned eventually, I think.
the
Eh, not
brain
really.
is
Okay, fair enough
the
then.
meteorite, so if we destroy it, will all these things just die?
It's a sound theorem. Which is why it must never leave this room.
What? No!
That's why I couldn't really see.
Remember
the
the what? No. One of my favorite Lauren Lopez deliveries. A slight hint towards, you know, Higgins's true nature.
Which, by the way, how do you think Higgins in the universe of Black Friday, what he did? Because him in this apocalypse kind of went crazy and joined the bad guys. Do you think he eventually tried to join the bad guys in the apocalypse in Black Friday's universe?
I mean, it depends if he was taken in by the Tickle Me Wiggly craze. If he was physically right, like I feel like he's too paranoid to end up, you know, in that kind of situation, especially because it has like almost a direct opposite approach where this is, you know, bring about in quotes world peace. You know, the result of Black Friday was, you know, literally World War III. So I feel like between the two, Higgins would definitely draw the line at that point. He was also referenced at the very end of Black Friday as a safe haven in that sense, and I feel like this time he probably would not have converted. So, you know.
Well, I will say I think there is a story to be told about, like, because within the context of this play alone, right, he'd been preparing for this specific apocalypse, right? If this specific apocalypse does not happen in the other timelines, then he planned for something that would never arrive. I do wonder what happens to his psyche at that point.
Well, I mean, he still has the bare essentials, you know, for survival and also booze. So, you know, he would at least be. I feel like his psyche was definitely gone enough at this point that, you know, even then it would just be.
And also,
Yeah, I just want to know his reaction to being wrong. You know.
Wait, also,
he probably wouldn't care that much because he's alive and wrong.
Wait, what about the Black Book in this universe? Do you think the Black Book could have actually undid the apotheosis, or at least theoretically stopped it?
Well,
considering that one of the Sillies is directly responsible for this apotheosis, I don't think they would have been inclined to do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Black Book can do anything you want. The problem isn't the possibility; it's the price.
Yeah, and also again, the people, the people, you know, administering the price in the first place.
I just gotta give up what I want most. I don't just brainwash myself into.
That's not. No, that was only the price.
That'll be easy. That'll be easy. Trust me.
Nope, that was only the. Nope, that was only the price a nerdy guy and nerdy prudes must die. There's different prices depending on.
I know, but listen.
Well, I mean, technically, the actual listed price remains the same, but it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, by the way, we've been going for less than an hour, Quadzy. This is not an oh wow, it's still going situation. By our standards, either on my main channel or this one.
We still haven't even hit an hour.
Oh, also, I was going to put this on comment before. In the community production I went to, two of them were Mamiya Garb instead for the finale. The Starlight Cast got Apotheosis too. Yeah, nice detail there. I guess it depends like how big your ensemble is, actually. At some point you do, unless you're Starkid, you can end up, you know, who end up doubling up a lot. You know, here you go.
Okay, So, okay, here's the thing. That was like a very short scene, which could have been taking place simultaneously with the scene at the school, potentially. Or at least when I see scenes like that, I tend to generally assume they're simultaneous scenes because.
Okay, sure, that very much could be the case.
But like, here's the thing: Paul is tied up here. You know what they could have did if they got infected? They could have just puked in his mouth while he was knocked out and just apotheosised him.
Okay, but they're not infected yet.
I thought they're infected here.
No, they're infected when they start singing.
Good evening. Sorry for that bump on the head, son. You can't be too careful. What's your name?
Paul Matthews?
Hi, Paul. My name is General John McNamara of the United States Military. Special Unit PEIP. We call it PEEP.
I've never.
We've got to make it. Well,
You never will. Not, PEEP.
oh come on! Look at the audience when you do that.
Nice looking at the audience.
But yes.
Our organization has the unenviable task of cleaning up messes of a certain nature. Situations not unlike what we have here today in Hatchetfield.
You mean things like this have happened before?
Actually, nothing of the source of that information is classified. But our units in town led us to believe that the entire population had been infected by the alien contagion. So, quite frankly, we're all a little shocked to find a survivor like yourself.
Shocked.
I got some bad news for you, Paul. My unit was sent here to make a clean sweep of what was once your town. No loose ends, no survivors.
Wait, you're just gonna kill me?
Those are my orders, yes, 2 in the head, 1 in the heart.
What?
There's
2
one-
in the head.
When the case of my vaccines, 2 in this arm, 1 in the other.
Oh,
You better hurry up and know about me, Paul. I love my country, I do. But the experiences I've endured throughout my tenure with this organization have granted me a greater understanding of the cosmos and our place in it. I follow a law higher than any institutional government could decree. And that is the universal truth of love and the strength of the human heart. Would you like to do some light reading on the subject?
My hands are tied right now, so I literally cannot read. Unless you want to open the book in front of me as I read.
I'll read it to you. Let me read you a bedtime story, Paul.
Pause for you, Paul. There's an evac chopper touching down at 2300 hours in Oakley Park. That is 11 o'clock in the PM. Synchronize your timepiece with mine. Is that my phone?
Yeah, it's the iPhone.
What? What in my phone? No!
Oh no! Oh no, it's cracked! Oh my goodness, what have you done?
I'm the precious thread in the back of the
phone on my budget. No!
And yes, chat, that was a Samsung. I know it's not the same thing.
universe. It deserves its own tool of measurement. Spiteful then.
That commenter was right. This person is trying to challenge as much chefdom as possible, and I respect that.
Got a seat on that chopper.
Cool. Wait, General McNamara. I can't leave without Emma.
Who's Emma? Oh, Paul.
Also Ted and Higgins, who are very much alive and trying to get out, as far as I know at this point, but, you know, forget about them.
Friend?
Friends don't move my heart, son. Is there a chance at something more?
I think so.
Yeah, you know, just saying, he just said her name. As far as he knows, it could have been his sister.
That's why he asked, "Who's Emma, Paul?" And then he responded, "A friend," confirming it was in fact not a sister.
I want her to be.
Well, you know what that means. I'm authorizing you to use my firearm.
What? I was gonna be like, love deserves death.
I mean, if we're in a Shakespearean tragedy, yes, but other than
Get
that,
your ass to that chopper!
Thank you, sir.
Don't thank me until we're in Clydesdale sharing a cup of coffee.
Ew,
know what?
Clydesdale.
yeah, good. Well, I mean, in a pinch, you know, what else can you do?
Hey, not even the apotheosis would go there, so you're safe.
Oh my god.
Mhm. He just met Hitch and says Cleopold's like Ted as much as Ted likes Paul. Okay, well, in that case, he definitely needs to do some reading about, the truth of love and the universe and compassion, all of that stuff. Because if that's his criteria right there for who gets to survive with him, we're going to have a few issues with Paul, I think.
Oh, don't worry. I can seduce Paul to survive. It's okay.
You know what? I feel like, the thing that the sitters would take from you would probably be your flirtatiousness.
Oh,
Do you like coffee, son?
Yes, sir.
Do you like musicals?
No, sir.
That's a motherfucking red-blooded American. I'll see you on the job.
No, he's actually got like a fusion of Jeff Blim and Skipper from Penguins of Madagascar, actually, now I've realized.
Oh my god, you're so right. You got it, Lewandowski.
We seem to be dealing with an alien pathogen, sir. All right then, Private, give it a lick and tell me what it's about. Are you sure, Skipper? I do enjoy singing, but not to this degree.
Listen,
Rico, keep an eye on him. I don't trust him anymore.
Listen, Paul has a type. He likes moody women. Okay, he wants a woman of attitude.
So, in what
I'm
world
replying
does
to the
this
cat chat.
relate at all to the Penguins of Madagascar, Aiden?
No, I'm replying to the
Molly,
chat.
perhaps? I don't know.
I'm replying to the chat.
Okay, but we weren't
Okay,
talking about
this is why you need to. This might need to have a host account, Aiden, because then you can put the chat on screen and give us context.
Okay, well,
Okay, here we go. So the context with this, it's hard to understand why Paul falls in love with Emma when he saw her first as a moody woman. I mean, it depends. Like some people are into that. Some people just like the no nonsense attitude. It honestly might have just been physical. You never know. I mean, he
Paul's a
thought
bottom.
she was the latte hate, so it might have also been a little bit of the superficial thing as well. Yeah, I feel like at this point, if he sees her more in that case, it would more so confirm his attraction to her rather than and deepen it to the point where this has now become the thing that he wants to happen rather than something that he's just passively like, I'll see her occasionally and whatever, like subconsciously. Like, remember, he's vocalized his want now, which is what Mr. Davidson wanted him to do. He wanted him to want. And there you go. Now he does.
I love
See?
women.
say moody women.
Mm-hmm.
We have the love for the moody women in this chat, apparently.
Hey, W in the chat if you guys like moody women. If you guys like women, not moody women, but just women.
Yay! Sorry, Aiden.
Yeah, I can't say anything about that. Listen, I'm just saying men are.
Type an M in chat if you like me.
Oh my
If you want Aiden's interpretation of liking women, go check out the last two D&D sessions that we've done.
Which ones? Oh wait, are we talking about
The
the
last
worm
two.
mare, and the cat girl?
Yes, because they appear in both of those.
Oh yeah. Listen. They're yes.
They're passionate. They're passionate about each other.
They're very
Yes.
passionate. One worse than the other, like a scarf.
Mhm.
What the fuck?
You're fired.
What are you doing?
Exactly what needs to be done, Emma. Alexa, open the gates. Shut down the fences, turn it all off.
Wait,
Let's enjoy us both. He hasn't even he's not even supposed to start doing the movements yet, but he's already won him over. Okay. All right, that got me. Yeah.
Are you ready for a show shopping number, Jacob?
Oh, I am very ready. And I'm
It's
also
a
curious
real
what
showstopper.
I'm also curious what key is going to be sung in, given the pitch that the actor's chosen to give this character.
Well, see, what I'm curious about is that this was the musical number that really confirmed that our gaydar was right. But given, I wonder how this one's gonna. Are they going to lean into Higgins as the character? Or are they going to play like a nice little inside joke with the actress?
I feel like it's almost impossible to not lean to Higgins the character, considering what the musical is about, and the canon inspiration for what that for
Well,
what
that's what
you know,
I'm
who
saying.
the Working
Like
Boys
if
were.
they change it, I'm curious about if they do. 'Cause they
Well, let's see.
easily could.
The end of the world? What's protecting the world from a nuclear holocaust?
I guess the question is, why would they change
Climate
it?
change, overpopulation. The world was already doomed, Emma. I was trying
Also, I hear people say nuclear. It's nuclear.
to protect something that could not be saved.
Did you
Until
say
now.
different words there?
Yes.
But
I didn't hear a difference.
before we can be reborn, we must first say our goodbyes. Alexa. After all these years in isolation, with you as my one companion, I've come
no,
to
he wants to
love
marry
you just as
Alexa.
much as any woman of flesh and blood.
Which, according to the gaydar, is not very much at all.
Which is why it pains me to do this. Alexa, initiate self-destruct. Oh.
There you go.
Professor, I don't think it can do that.
It is 2018,
It's 2020.
and it can't be fucking piece of shit.
A reminder: this came out a week ago, more or less.
Come on, man, just let us go, okay?
Oh, Ted. I can't do that.
I say nuclear. I don't know how that sounds, but
Well, I mean, it's because it's spelt that way, so one should say it that way.
Energy to survive, it must first evolve. That's what the visitors from the stars have brought us. Salvation! And we must join them.
Oh.
This is humanity's second chance.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to change very much, BB.
Not
Oh.
Please, Professor, just think about what you're doing.
Emma, did you know that before I became a biologist,
shout
I
out
was
Middle
truer and
English,
much
which fixes
deeper
most of this problem.
Yeah, that's true. Emphasis on most.
passion? Yes, my first love was, and always will be, musical theater.
The double spin is nice.
I actually heard someone say, "Oh my god!" that again, that one person.
And the one that you call Charlotte, I found that they carried a specific gene that helps them communicate their rhythmic frequencies. They're drawn to music like a moth to a flame. Which is why I prepared a special something for this occasion.
Normally I'd say it's, pretty impressive they put this together right after coming up with that theory while they were unconscious, but then I realized I literally did a parody, like, right before stream started, so never mind.
No, Professor,
Don't
no.
you fucking do it.
It's a
Showstopper
a real showstopper, showstopping number, come on. Something to shock 'em, to leave them a-crawling, a big time box office draw.
Okay, interesting, because the voice makes it seem like it's a different thing, but I guess it's still like, it sounds like it's supposed to be high, but the notes actually aren't. Like, the key is identical, but it's just because of that.
I
I don't
kind of
know,
dig
it's-
it though.
I do as well. I can't put my finger on it.
With the press and the glamour, we'll kill the reviews. Spotlight
Okay.
on Mr.
That was voice crack, apparently.
That looked deliberate.
So fill up your tumbler. Got a show stopping numbler for you.
Please, Professor, if they hear us, they will kill us.
I like it, just stop playing.
Show stopping number is something you die for.
Here we go.
Great acting.
You You can't even hear the song because the audience are cheering so much.
A ditty to make the chorus girls swoon. And all unify humanity in a thundering chorus.
There you
no
go.
extras from this Broadway than you.
No, there are no extras because the army couldn't make their way through.
So splash the shiny cymbals. Gotta throw stop and hymnal for you. This song's pretty cool, huh?
It certainly
I
is.
just didn't know I was awesome.
I like how the audience responded this time.
So a composer.
Oh, really?
And while preparing for the apocalypse, I've been writing my own musical. Carefully give me the pitch.
Sorry, we don't have time.
Fuck you, go for it, man.
Let's go.
Well,
I do like, I do like the idea that he's been preparing for the apocalypse and writing his own musical, as if who is it going to be performed in front of if it's the apocalypse?
the rat, obviously.
I will say I don't
and the
remember.
cockroaches.
Is he Bruno from Encanto? Is he making rat telenovelas now?
I will
Exactly.
say I don't remember a lot of these body movements. I feel like they really exaggerated like this stereotypically gay like physicality.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of this definitely seems new. That being said, it's not that far off at this point. It was before the song started.
Boys, a new musical. It's about a group of old college chums. Sure, they
But word of advice, don't put a new musical in the official title of the musical.
found success in the business world. But still, they can't help but long for the simpler times of that beautiful house in the end of campus. But those glory days, they're gone for good. Or are they? Yes, it's the title number.
Oh no, because it's you can still hear the piano is still playing. It hasn't caught on yet. Issues with not having a live orchestra. Yeah, gotta stall a bit. There you go.
Business calls, I got to my acid shit. What is this business? Markets are crashing.
See, like I said, if you don't swear, it doesn't have the same punch.
I just can't take it. All I want to do is spend the day with Steve and Greg.
And they really
those are
captured
good
the
stuff.
like 2010s like e-boy like indie space vibe on his take on this one.
Yeah, 2020's e-boy like in physicality, early 2000s emo kid in vocalization.
Crawling in my skin.
How are you? And I'm
Right.
so sorry.
It is literally that voice.
And Mark. And Layton. And Chad.
You know what I wonder actually, as a version that people could do on this, they could just like if they know the audience, they could just name people in the audience.
Oh, you know, it would have been a nice touch if they started naming like Star Kid
I
cast members from the
answer it.
original showing.
Ooh, that's even better. I like that more. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Greg.
Oh my god, it's great.
Yeah. I'm just swamped with, like, business.
Ted is fantastic in this.
You know, stocks and bonds. Golden parachutes.
No. See, Chad becomes Jeff. You're referencing Jeff Blim specifically.
Remember those good old times on a football field? Last weekend feels like forever ago. What? Tonight. After work. On the football field.
You know, the fact that we can actually see the full stage this time normally is a hindrance given like how the camera work operated. But first of all, there's no follow spot this time, thank goodness. But secondly, you can actually see how far Ted is leaning in. Like you actually get like the full picture in this situation.
Me and you and Steve and Stu and Mark and Layton and Chad.
Oh my god.
5 o'clock. I'll see
5
you then,
o'clock
Greg.
can't come soon,
I
I know.
will see you then.
5
Give
o'clock
it a
can't
moment.
come soon.
Give it a moment.
What to do is spend the day with Steven.
Here we go. Oh my goodness, they did. Yes, he did it. Did it. That moment is actually more difficult than it looks. The fact they got imitated is perfect, yeah. Are they? Oh, they were. Oh, I thought they were tied up to each other. They've not been split. Okay, well. Okay.
Got the number of Bill Showstopper and all they got to do.
Yay.
Bill Burrow has the money at full price admission. The world.
You know what the characters could have did in this situation, though? Since they were back-to-back tied up, why didn't they both try to maneuver their hands to each other's hands and try to, like, undo the ropes or whatever? Or zip ties or whatever was around their hands?
Yeah,
That's what I really would have did. It would be like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe we can get
I
one
don't
of our
think-
hands undone to get us out of here.
Yeah. I don't think Ted would have done that, but Emma might.
I will say that like them even like tying them up is a bit cliche. I imagine realistically speaking, they couldn't do that because it'd probably just be handcuffs.
What? I see. Would Hitchens have handcuffs?
Why
Yeah,
not? It's so easy to just buy
guys.
handcuffs. It's
He
not
has pink
hard.
fluffy handcuffs,
True, but
okay.
true, but would it be essential for the apocalypse?
Well, if he's intending to tie someone up, then sure, yeah.
Well, I mean, he had the doors down. I don't think maybe he was intending to tie someone, but that seemed like an improvised situation.
Well,
he didn't know that they brought in Sam originally.
Actually, wouldn't he have a pair of handcuffs because the police officer was captured? So,
Oh yeah, I guess you're
so
right.
he,
Yes,
he
you
would
have- yeah.
canonically at least have a pair of handcuffs in the building. I don't know if he had any other naturally, but he would at least have a pair of handcuffs to the cop being. in the
Well, then one of
building.
them gets to be untied.
Yeah, not only is Ted doing the cute touch, but the fact that he hesitates so much and is slightly out of rhythm, again, humanity aspect.
Can move over your new competitions in town.
Hey, Henry! Greg! Is that really you? No, Professor, that's not Greg.
Been a long
They're
Oh,
not
come on.
real.
No, Professor, that's not Greg. Like, that punching.
Hey, boys, you ready to toss around that pigskin?
5 o'clock already. It must be.
Although
Come
one
on,
thing I do
Henry.
wonder is how do the singing zombies know the actual?
How do they know the lyrics, the choreography? That's the question, isn't it?
How
That's
do
what he
they-
asked earlier. That's what he asked earlier.
We got some catching up to do.
I think it's because they've been able to fill in their own minds. Given that we know the context of the working boys at this point, they're able to fill in the context and like come in themselves. Similar to how like someone would join like an improvisation if they have enough detail.
Working boys, we're up to our ass and shit. What is this business? 5 o'clock and come soon enough.
I mean, they probably couldn't have seen the choreography, maybe, but aside from that, most other things check out.
5 o'clock and come soon enough. 5 o'clock.
Also, I like the fact that they actually alternated them, so it does like they're still uniform with each other, even if they can't do the kick.
Can't come soon enough. I can't wait to get home to my boy.
Fantastic higher harmonies. Honestly, whenever
Right.
I'm in musicals, I always find an excuse to implement those.
I think the one doing that is the one, at least the one that's doing it the highest, is also the cutest of all three of them. This cute little fella on the right.
Okay, fair enough. Looking a bit like Ron Weasley from Very Potter Musical. Ah, yes, the ring around the rosies pose, symbolically referencing they're gonna die from a plague soon.
God, if you see me now, I promise I'll be a better person. God, are you there? God.
You were supposed to appear a bit sooner. God, this is a cue guard. You missed a cue guard. Come in, God.
Come on, thank you, one of you guys.
I'm pretty sure it was meant to be rope canonically because if
Yeah.
it was handcuffs, there's no way Paul would have just walked over there and be like, "Don't worry, with my magical hands, I can undo the lock
No,
on your
Paul-
handcuffs."
Paul rolled a 19 on sleight of hand. Anyway.
Where you run. You run for your lives while he's being murdered viciously.
Yeah, you know what? I actually prefer this version of what they did originally, where they like came out like with the puppet, because in the original one it points out that Hitchens just did not think about the aspect of like, oh, he saw Charlotte with her guts pulled out earlier. Why was he surprised they did the same thing to him? But in this case, he wasn't even like given a chance to be surprised by it. They're just on him. And they kept the chair. Fantastic.
Chairs for later in this act, so with the helicopter.
It would have been really fun if one of them got back in the chair and they were just rolled them out.
No, that's they just do what they did in Spies Forever. One step ahead, just in swivel chairs. And by that point, you're too invested to care about the cheapness. Just getting their thumb painlessly with theater. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, they're definitely repeating the same transition music over and over again.
Helicopter lands, Oakley parking. Okay, it's 10:51. We gotta have it. Paul, I want to.
Also, I forgot the timer, but, just bear in mind, like, the whole show-stopping number took place during that, and that was like 5 minutes, if I recall. So, just, from now plus 5 minutes to that, to the army thing.
Something. No, no. Yes, no. Today is broken.
But like, why didn't the army just gun down a bunch of people coming at them singing?
Again,
two in the head, one in the heart.
Civilization bend to their will. Surely
Yes.
they had a plan.
Yeah, well, their plan might have been to surprise them, essentially. I mean, the fact that it's open-ended, it does leave a little bit like, okay, there are many ways they could have tried this. They could have systematically been, okay, so people in the army themselves, they took themselves out that way. They might all just have, gunshot wounds from their own, and then that's how it spread without the higher-ups getting the knowledge before they were able to put a plan into action. And by that point, it was too late.
Yeah,
It's a possibility.
Yeah, I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine that the Apotheosis got this far without having a plan for something as powerful as guns.
Yeah, that's also a good point. Like, it was supposed to be a surprise. Like, you can slightly tell because we suddenly hear the new music and just the fact that Ted is like building up, and it's like these guys come up and soon. So it was bound to happen from that aspect. But I suppose if you don't like look for all the narrative cues, like we always do, someone would have been surprised by that. You're right.
I guess I just don't like infection stories where characters introduced earlier in the story, and like not even like a few minutes later after they disappear, and then they just suddenly come back. It's like, yeah, I got infected. We're not actually going to acknowledge how I did it. It just happened sometime somewhere.
You were the only one.
You
with
didn't
this
seem
issue,
to.
though.
You didn't seem to have a problem with Sam getting infected, but like 2 scenes after he was introduced.
God, I forget. Which character was that?
Well, that's because he
Police
doesn't know who
officer.
Sam is.
Police officer. He was introduced in the first at that point where he seemed to have a thing with Zoe, which basically went nowhere at that point. And that it was like, I never miss a musical, The Starlight. And if that makes me less of a man, then it can talk to my gun. Like, that was that scene. And then afterwards, we're cops. Yeah, we're cops. We've been infected.
I guess, but like, I don't know. It feels a lot more glaring with McNamara, especially because he's at least should be a more important character, because like the cop character doesn't feel as important to me.
No,
I just realized something.
They
All
feel
of the examples that
supernatural
we've mentioned are all intended as surprises. If you think about it, like Greenpeace Girl is the first time that we hear someone sing at that point. So everyone, including Paul, is even caught off guard. Again, if the musical build up, it kind of ruins it. But pretend for a second, and then Sam's like, "Oh, okay, we're saved. The police are here." Nope, they're infected. Oh, McNamara's here. We're saved. Nope, army's infected. Like, it's always a surprise when that happens, and it happens 3 times. So I think that was definitely a deliberate choice.
Yeah. Also, if like the statement no, but it's a more glaring issue because he's a more important character. That's just bad writing if important character is the only thing stopping you. I don't know what to tell you at that point. Also, for us, it's been minutes, but this has likely been close to hours. They don't even need the hours. The 5 minutes is plenty.
Yeah, we also don't depending like the scope of the operation, because I don't imagine that Peep is very large anyway, and they wouldn't need that many people to make a clean sweep on Hatchetfield, assuming they're effective what they do, which they are.
Well, the thing
But
is, it's
also
like
on top of
Zombie
that, you're right. Even though we're talking about the 5 minutes here, we don't know how long they've been running for as well.
I mean, potentially. Also, I will say it's also the fact that Peep is meant to deal with supernatural shit or like cosmic shit versus a regular police officer, Greenpeace girl, etc. Isn't really going into situations where it's like, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna have to deal with some weird cosmic horror of a evil spore infecting me, turning me into a singing zombie.
I saw a comment on this.
Planet they've done this for.
Yeah, I saw a comment on this actually, where the person points out that the fact that Peep failed so quickly serves to make the threat more intimidating as a result. Like, if even the people specialize in this couldn't handle this entity, that, what chance does the regular civilians or even, just our main characters even have? Like, it makes it feel much more hopeless as a result.
Maybe, but also I do think that although if Black Friday came out first, because I feel like Peep was handled a lot better in Black Friday and showed that they actually have some sort of power. If that was meant to be some sort of point, it would have been a lot more powerful if we had some sort of project beforehand establishing that Peep could do something a bit more intricate, or at least the audience.
Intricacy means nothing. They failed in Black Friday too.
Yeah,
okay, since you bring that, they had a bit more of a back and forth. They made more progress, and even after they failed, they were still able to reach through the black and white thanks to Lex.
Yeah.
But anyway, aside from that, since Aiden brings this up, I remember that Guiding Light Musicals was meant to be the third in the trilogy rather than the first at one point. I think that's where the last remaining story to tell came from in that song, maybe. But because of budget reasons, they couldn't put on Nerdy Brews Must Die first, which also makes the Grace Chastity line feel like that was, that was also a consideration. So yeah, maybe we were supposed to see Black Friday first and realize that this was much more of an issue. Although I guess if you flip them around, it would make Peep seem much worse by comparison if we've always seen them put up a fight against one of the Sillies previously, or not.
Yeah,
I guess it could go either way at that point.
Although this is also just a better intro musical because the way it's structured right now is it provides a pretty nice scale. Because you have each part in the trilogy gets progressively more big.
Yeah, I do agree that this does seem a lot better for an entry, especially because there is a god involved in this. But to be fair, from an audience standpoint, or at least initially watching this, you don't actually know there's a god involved. You just know there's a meteor. That's all you know. But
honestly, it feels more like Xana.
And then obviously the next musical has a god slightly more involved. And the next and Nerdy
Very
Brews
much
Must Die, and the Nerdy Brews Must Die major has every single god But in Nerdy Brews Must Die, the gods themselves, they were the solution, sort of. They were or presented at first like that, or even almost the lesser of two evils. Until it's revealed they were very much weren't, but obviously. Yeah.
But actually, Black Friday has the most involved Silly that was in charge of that.
This is a point we brought up last stream as well. We are curious about what they do with Black Friday. Should they do it?
Yes, but we'll wait for a year and see if they put that on or not.
Hell, I even wanted to abandon poor Erica.
Erica.
Well, they've only just met. Remember.
I wish I could be brave. I wish I could be brave like you, Paul.
Dude, let go of the gun. Let go of the gun, sir. If you're gonna have a mental breakdown, don't hold a gun, please. That's all I ask.
Yeah, one of my favorite Star Kids scenes is actually in Firebringer. Again, my other favorite musical of all time, and that is the one where a character breaks down as let me give a pause and just bask in the moment. Because I have learned a lesson here, and that lesson is as follows, and then they go in the whole thing. So I also don't know if that's the case, it feels strange that that one would be the one that isn't licensable, considering that the other two in the trilogy are. That doesn't feel right for some reason.
Do we know? Okay, so you said not yet specifically. Is that just you making a hopeful guess, or have they said that it's like in the roadmap?
I actually don't know how long it would take for them to license a production, to be honest. But yeah, well, I thought No Bruise Must Die is. Maybe not.
Yes.
I've been a grade A asshole, okay? But you know, I swear for
Someone gave us the list last week, and I forgot what was included. Although I have looked up on their website before, I do know what some of the things that are on there.
from here on out I will be a better person. Because if today's taught me anything, it's that the most important thing in life is the people you care about, right? Yeah? So, Paul.
I didn't mention his brother a single time, which is why I didn't know they were related, and people kept on, giving me flack for it in Nightmare Time.
Would they have a brother?
Okay, yeah,
Who's
it's
brother?
the
What?
okay, yeah. I'm literally
You
looking
see the
at,
problem.
Who's the brother?
So I pulled it up on the page. It's right at the top. It's the guy who didn't like musicals next to a VHS Christmas Carol. The very first two examples.
Great. What are the other examples?
Firebringer, The Trail to Oregon, and Twisted.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Well,
Oh
I guess,
wait,
I
hold
guess-
on. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Paul. Come here, Paul.
Yeah, Polly. He's been taking clues from Melissa of how to deal with cats.
Paul, I've always considered you. Me too, I guess. I considered you guys to be my best friends. Working!
I'm pretty sure this is that was improvised.
I said I'd be a better person doesn't mean I'm a good one! Okay, get to the
True.
chopper. Get to the chopper. Oh shit, is that the military? Hey guys, over here! Hey! Well,
Okay, total 6 minutes, more or less. 6.5.
oh my god. You guys are such a sight for sore eyes, you know? Holy shit, there's no one left save me, just me. No one left. I love the troops.
Okay, the fact that they seem to like subdued the music here. I wonder if that's
Guys, you know, I always say that. I say that I bleed red, white, and...
Oh, that's why they built it up a bit more. They knew what I was saying about the music earlier.
I don't know what you've been
No!
told, but Americans should be known.
Follow spot,
The
please.
wars we fought in this country against those that are far too bold. The two-party system, left and right, there's only room for right and wrong. It's me or you or me. Always become the strong, yeah, we're great again. America is great again.
Okay, this I have to point out because, while I was preparing the parody for this stream, I actually listened to the CD version of, well, not CD version, or like the album version was what I meant to say. I don't know why I said CD. Yeah, because actually those harmonies are not as clear in the musical version as they as they were in the CD one. So that they clearly listened to that version a lot more, or I guess it was in the sheet music maybe. That's probably why they haven't licensed so many. They don't want to publish the sheet music.
Hey, Summer. Oh God, General McNamara, they got you too.
Who's General McNamara?
I think
Yeah,
that
you
she
sound
said they
torn
will
about it,
provide the
Paul.
sheet music.
Yeah, well, yes, but I'm saying that, they don't want to provide them with ones they haven't licensed, is my implication. Also, Paul, you sound really torn about it. Oh God, General McNamara, they got you too. Oh no.
Oh no, my Sheila. The meme. Don't mind my random meme reference.
Fair enough.
It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
It's Paul.
You can't run.
Well, actually, I can run. I'm not gonna make it very far though.
Yeah, they actually did run in the original. Also, another comment that I saw in like the other of us is that Ted joining in here makes this more eerie because again, remember, and now we got a contrast here between when he joined the kick line hesitantly, and now he's in sync with them. Oh, that's more vibrato there.
Oh man, this person's really doing it.
Yeah, there's more vibrato here than Jeff Limit ever did. Acting through song, everyone.
Right, I would say like even like their body movements with like that very like sporadic emotion-filled like head twist there. That was great.
We're great again. We're great again. No answers to be found. We're great again. No answers to be found.
Farewell, John McNamara.
Shout out McNamara acting, man. That was great.
Oh, thank God, Polly made it!
There's the
Get
Jazz.
out of here, there's no one left.
Oh, yes, I thought I was.
Oh no, you've got the two most subdued actors to do like the chopper like shaking part. Oh,
Gonna die in Hatchetfield, but I'm not, Paul. We got out of there and we are never going back. Fuck you, Hatchetfield!
Seatbelts, little puppy.
YOLO. Thank you, ma'am. You said.
I just realized something. The way that they've staged this, they've staged it so that yes, the pilot has her back to the audience because that's a reveal. That's the only time that it's suggested to have your back to the audience, like use the number one rule. But they've also turned it so that Paul and Emma are facing each other, which is not how any helicopters are laid out.
Take our asses back there. Hey, Mr. Business, how do you do? Zoe? Can
Good
we
point,
get a triple free?
I think originally because like she shot upwards, and that was why.
Yeah,
that was
that's
part
why
of,
they
like, the chopper
crashed.
Yeah. Then again, I guess if you let go of the controls, they would probably have a similar fate.
Wouldn't it make more sense? I'm just saying, Zoe, I feel like you really shouldn't have did that move until you got to Clydesdale, so then you could start infecting people and then worry about Paul and Emma, but...
Well,
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I would have tried to infect the rest of the world instead of
that is
kill Emma
true.
first.
That's fair. I guess the idea was that if she goes down, then there's really just no hope of escape.
I wonder.
Yeah, but...
I wonder if the hive mind was so focused on finally getting rid of Paul that because this is 4 times now he's defied them. So that they just like kind of forgot the prime directive.
They kind of went, wait, we need to infect the rest of the world, not just a small island. Oops.
Yeah. Their weakness is water. It's like the aliens from Signs.
Oh God.
Yeah. Good luck conquering Earth, by the way, if your weakness is water. But anyway. I'm guessing they can somewhat see them resetting.
Emma?
Oh, they had to see her like set up the injury.
Oh my god, Emma. Oh, your leg.
No! Fuck!
I
hate to
I
say
can't
this
see
right
you
now.
over the heads of the audience.
All right, we're still in Hatchetfield to get you to shore or something.
Paul, I'm not getting off this island.
Those things are coming.
So you gotta kill them before they do. It's like your friend said, the meteor, it's the hive mind.
Which?
Oh!
He wasn't there for that scene, though. He wasn't there for the meteor scene. He doesn't know.
Yeah,
know
that's
the
what.
truth.
That's why he originally asked, which friends Bill, Ted, Charlotte. We didn't get that yet because I think he nudged her leg and she improvised by mistake.
Which friend? Bill, Ted, Charlotte?
There you go.
I don't remember your friends' fucking names.
Mhm.
The head, you take down the head, the whole thing goes
I remember yours. You were Erica to them.
down. Something like that.
Wow, that's really convenient. What the? So I just
That's a good point. Why did Zoe have those?
explode the meteor and what? Everyone just drops in?
Listen, Zoe's. What if Zoe's plan was to get onto like land or whatever, and then like suicide bomb sports everywhere?
Well, you know,
Get
like,
your cup of
it
bomb.
goes down
Wait,
very fast.
Aiden.
Goes all
get,
sports.
get your cup of bomb-filled coffee. Explosive cup of Joey.
that's the thing. Zoe probably had them for the reason that anyone would have them, which is that realistically, those should have gone off in the crash. I don't know how those
Oh
are still
yeah,
there.
those definitely should have gone off in the crash.
Like, yeah, if the crash didn't kill these two, the bombs would have.
Mm.
Shit, hope so.
Stay here. Hold on.
Wait, Paul. Listen. Look, I know why you came to Beanie's all those times instead of going to Starbucks down the
What's
She
my
doesn't even
coffee?
sound like she's dying. How do you do this? You sound dead enough already.
street. And it's not because of our coffee. Our coffee was shit, because we didn't care. Sometimes I'd spit in it.
Oh.
You probably
Sometimes I'd spin there, like, oh my god, that was so mean.
drank some of my spit, but look,
I mean, I don't think you mind drinking some of your spit at this point.
Paul absolutely would mind.
I really wish
What?
I had.
But he wants to make out with her. What do you think's gonna happen when you
Okay.
make out with someone?
Okay, I'm gonna put a pin in that comment and I'm gonna bring it up in like a minute.
If we get through this, I'd love to go see a nice silent movie with you. Oh!
Did you just throw that? Oh!
Oh my god, that's so much blood! Oh,
Okay, that's one thing that this actress could do is act like she's in
I think
pain.
that's all of it. Get back in
No, I'd rather not.
That's all of it. I really hope that's not all of it. You need to be blood in your body. You're
Yeah.
gonna die. You're gonna bleed
Yeah,
out.
see, okay, so back to what you were saying before. Paul clearly has some standards here because in the original, she's she's supposed to like go and like and kiss him, and then she like spits up blood basically, and then is like, I think that's all of it. So get back in. He was like, no thanks. I'm gonna go now. The moment is ruined. And in this case, I guess because of the flake of the blood spurt, maybe they didn't want to even do like a hinted kissing because they actually did kiss in the original. I guess the approximation was too much for them. Maybe.
Yeah.
Now they got the music.
We're going to blow up a meteorite!
What's the word? Oh.
I don't know. I kind of forget. I forget that
He's a
one.
coming. Yeah.
Paul's coming.
Oh, they didn't do that because like this is where they do the thing. I was like, what's the word? He's a coming. Who's a coming? Paul's a coming. Paul's a coming. The star of the show, and yeah, because this time it's in the show itself that he's a coming. Okay. I think it's a new.
Did you hear the word?
Yeah.
What's the word?
He's coming. Who's
Paul's
coming? Paul's coming. Paul's coming. The star of the show. Let him call. Word.
What's the word?
He's coming.
Who's coming?
Paul's coming. Paul's coming. The star of the show. Let him call.
Okay.
He's so casual. He's so casual. I was like, yeah, gotta blow up a meteorite, you know.
Yeah, but Paul being casual here works a little bit more because you can tell there's an element of nervousness in him. Like the classic is his catchphrase is just him going, okay, like that. So you know.
Small?
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that was the meteor. Someone's head's in the way.
We've been waiting for you, Paul.
Back off, Bill.
Be careful, Paul. He might kick your head.
You gotta wait to be in the light before you do that.
And that would be a la-di-da-da-da.
What?
Emma's boss.
That was in the original, yeah.
That's right, Paul.
Emma's boss? I guess she survived as well.
Oh, your best friends are here. We're
Wait,
happy
you're
now.
not friends with Emma's boss? What do you mean? That's a lie. I'm not friends with you. I
Yeah.
don't even know your name. Emma's boss.
I was the true latte hate, or maybe not actually. Maybe it was the other one whose name I've forgotten.
We got what we wanted.
No, Mr. Davidson didn't want to be a mindless alien slave. He just wanted his wife to get a BBL.
I hate the chains. I will throw something.
You'll choke him for getting it wrong.
Exactly.
Paul. I thought you didn't care about saving the planet.
Back off, Greenpeace girl. Pull this pin, you all go down.
You won't do that, Paul.
The fuck I won't.
And what about you? You'll die too. Is that what you want?
Doesn't matter what I want.
We think it does, Paul.
Yes, you're the protagonist. You have to have motivation.
And we want to hear about it.
I guess one of my favorite things about this is the fact that it takes him so long to have a motivation. Like it, you know.
I mean,
People-
I think survival is a good enough motivation. I'm gonna be.
Yeah,
I think
this
wanting
is
to
actually-
live is
yeah, this is-
important.
Yeah, like this is something that that you know when it comes to even theater or creative writing, I've been told this from both sides as well. You know, it's like, you know, make your character's motivation inside out, which is fantastic advice normally. Although sometimes their motivation is as obvious as they don't want to die. You know, like
I don't want to die and become an alien singing alien thing.
Yeah, I feel like as far as, you know, relatability goes, the basic want to live and to prosper is, you know, enough for most general audiences.
Fact! We think there's a song in you yet.
Which is where the music should have already been cued in. I'm gonna have a word with this technical stuff. Dear technical stuff, just in YouTube comments. There it is. Like, just to re-emphasize that, like the fact that the music like never kicks in time, they're waiting for like these specific lines to come in before like it starts, and there's a chance that in the script it might say the other way around. I think it's a mistake to go in that way because like it kills the pacing a little bit. Like the way like it builds up, it's similar way to like how certain like YouTuber intros or outros work actually. Well, something I first noticed like way back in the day with Team Craft. Actually, you know, Minecraft Universe particularly was one where I realized that the first time it's like, okay, is it outro music starts before the end, but rather like hard cutting to it. Similar way to intros, how they sometimes will fade into something as the visuals change, the music fades out. So yeah, I think that they're missing out on that idea. It's also something that, by the way, like, you know, basically every gacha series that I've been directly responsible for has implemented into some way is the music slightly coming in before the end point, even if it is just the final visuals. Reason to do that is because, again, you know, it makes it seem a bit more natural than just like abruptly coming in. So yeah. It's meant to sound like, it seem like a smooth operation. So them waiting for a cue as a hive mind doesn't work as well, even in this scenario.
What's in your soul? Is your heart so damn bleak that you won't give us a peek of your soul?
Also, the follow spot here just physically cannot focus on all of them.
Just let it out.
Also,
There's a voice
they're all
inside.
glowing white now. which is not great, but that's been a
Well-
problem this whole musical.
Exactly.
You on the edge of coming through. What's it about?
And I know it's your voice. You just have to give up your choice.
Just let it out, let it out, let it out. Let it out, let it out, let it out. Just let it out, let it out, let it out. Let it out, let it out.
He sounds more angelic than the original Paul.
Your proximity to the meteor ball, the air here is thick with its spores. Feel as they take root in your brain as your apotheosis begins.
It's a pity that Peep didn't have gas masks. They might have survived, actually.
You really think you'd let you kill us? You'll be dead before you can pull that pin.
What was that?
You let it out.
Is that a note? Or just a sound? And my family coming around to a rabbit scheme. Oh God! Stop it! I'm split in two. Is this me? Or is this you? Am I dead? I'm coming apart at the seams. La 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 la. No! No, no, no.
The thing is that this is Paul's best scene, actually. This one. He died, they're right. He did make it.
Let it out, let it out, let it out. Just let it out, let it out, let it out. Let it out, let it out. Let it
Okay, maybe because he fell down before, this one thing that they could have done is like keep him on the floor and then have him like get up and maybe like be on his knees towards the audience when they get to this point. Yeah, because he just went on his knees again. Exactly.
Never been happy. Wouldn't that be nice? Just a secret. Singing and dancing through life is my integrity. Worth anything at all. But happiness can't come before its fall. Am I crazy? Maybe I've always been. I've become what I've hated.
I also like how, you know, even because it's a full picture now, so them being like inactive keeps the focus just on Paul right now, and like no one else matters in this moment.
Or maybe I never did. It's awful free now to share the hate I felt. But what will I let in if I let it out? Let it out, let it out. Am I crazy? I don't think so.
Let it out, let it out, let it out.
Maybe I've always been.
Just let it out, let it out, let it out.
God help me out.
Let it out.
If I let I don't like musicals.
Like how they already started clearing up before they like left the stage. Like, no, ah. I will say one thing that's because this version made the meters so small, none of them just kicked it. They could have got out of the way very quickly. Wait, imagine if they put one of them kicks it, they start like they become the Working Boys characters tossing around the pigskin.
Oh god.
News with Rod and Rachel. It's been 2 weeks since tragedy struck our sister city in Hatchetfield. Candlelight vigils line the streets as Clydesdale citizens try to make sense of this unspeakable loss. Every last man,
I don't know if I point this out in the original, but Dan and Donna, Rod and Rachel.
woman, and child in Hatchetfield gone in the blink of an eye. A meteor and a ruptured gas line was all it took to wipe them off the map, but it'll take much, much more to wipe them from our hearts. In other news, I'd like to wish Reese a very, very happy birthday, and your gift is my ticket to books.
Oh, I mean, great that you wish Reese a happy birthday, but what happened to Peanuts? Come on. Oh wait, no, they don't say that. They say something. Yeah, that's later. Never mind.
One thing I do find weird though is this ending. The ending of the musical. I found so confusing. That we're getting
Yeah, that is
to.
that is
Like
definitely
it just kind of comes out of nowhere. I thought everyone blew up and stuff, but it's like no, they're fine. I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of confusing.
No, that's actually something that yeah, even I knew it was built up. The fact that Paul doesn't speak at all when he like first appears until the music kicks in. Like again, the music was the giveaway in that sense. So to reiterate my previous point, you know, music building in when it's not a surprise, keep that in. Don't do it when it's when it's not supposedly. But yeah, in this yeah, that's like Hatchetfield overall has that issue where you know it feels like almost like it has to be an unhappy ending. Like I get that that's part of it where it's like everyone's helpless. Eventually, the bad guys always win somehow. But remember, I guess that's with Honey Queen. Honey Queen just felt like a very a relatively normal story until that final part where it's like you just like it felt like slapped on. Basically, just be like, okay, make this tragic. Nutty Prudes actually was the best one that I think they did this in, where or even Black Friday actually. Either one of those two, where in Black Friday it was we knew the consequences couldn't be stopped to some degree. Like that's that final plane strike makes sense. In Nutty Prudes, obviously Grace has the Black Book. We know how unhinged she is. We know how easily corrupted she can be. Fantastic, but yeah, in this in this case, it's like, yeah, well, I mean, okay, sure. If you blow up the meteor, then suddenly everyone appears and does like a final thing. It's like, sure, all right. Is this even like supposedly happening, or is this is this all in somebody's mind? I hate that it's all in someone's mind. It's all a dream. There's one of my least favorite cliches because then you don't trust what you've been invested in if it's done incorrectly. And in this case, if that's what their intent was, I think it was done incorrectly in the original and possibly also here, but we'll see. Also, yeah, the rivalry is just a bit, yeah, I mean, potentially, honestly, that is definitely much more healthy than, the alternative. You're right in terms of like the Clydesdale rivalry. True. I guess because Clydesdale constantly like win all of their events, they don't have as much animosity towards Hatchetfield as the other way around. Maybe that's why.
You all ready to go? How's that like treating you, Kelly?
Why'd it have to be Kelly? Couldn't it have been something similar to my real name, like Emma Lee?
No, or Erica.
That's negative, Kelly. You'll get used to it. We can't have anybody making any connections between you and M. Perkins, who died tragically in the Hatchetfield catastrophe.
You couldn't have even given me a cool death? Something heroic? Emma Perkins! Her flesh melted off while she was shielding children.
I mean, if they would interfere with the ruptured gas line thing because they wouldn't know who was there in the last moments, what they did.
It was my idea to destroy the meteor, after all.
And for that, Uncle Sam is not ungrateful. Take this.
Yeah, character Sam is definitely ungrateful. He didn't make it out.
Inside you'll find a new passport,
Oh, he
new
did.
social security card, and the deed to a 5-acre plot of land in Colorado. Green.
It's also very easily green screen based on the color of the paper we've wrapped it in. Good luck with that, internet.
Fertile. Hell of a place to grow some cannabis.
Thank you, Colonel Schaefer. Are you sure I was the only survivor?
We've been over this, Kelly. There were no survivors. Save one pocket-sized squirrel we found burrowed in the chest of a local woodworker.
There you go.
Peanuts? I'm glad he made it.
Now, that is a story we can share to the public. In the wake of a tragedy like this, good.
I do wonder if the Peanuts wasn't infected because he wasn't sapient enough. Because otherwise, if it's buried in the chest of somebody, that's definitely where the spores would have taken over.
News goes a long way.
It's just Paul.
He was a good man. If not for him, the disease could have spread to the mainland, In Hatchetfield, it can be contained, but if it got in here,
I do like how this version of Colonel Schaefer is just, you know, like all like a hey, what's up, dudes? Like that kind of thing. I don't know what to call that necessarily. I like this energy more actually.
Clydesdale, oh hell would have broken loose. Well, safe travels and good luck with the pot farm. Oh, wait, totally forgot. You'll be escorted to
Yo, I totally forgot, bruh.
Colorado by a Mr. Ben Bridges.
I don't know any Ben Bridges.
Those were seen as alternate realities of the silly successful attempts of taking over the world. Well, I mean, you say that they're the alternatives. Why are they necessarily the alternatives? Because we don't see a version where they fail.
Well, according to our files.
But you know what? I absolutely love that. Yeah, I love this idea. Get Hannah involved in there as well, considering her connection to Webby. You know, they would be a fantastic trio, actually.
You two were very good friends.
And Lex is a supporting character, possibly thinks, you know, Hannah's a bit too involved, doesn't know at first, then realizes like that's that kind of thing. You know, there's a lot to think about. You could even have like that subplot with John McNamara actually, and that be like, you know, and she'd be like the last line of defense when thinks everyone is all hopeless. Now you got me thinking about this actually. There's potential in here. If we get to 1,000 subscribers, maybe we'll do a family musical. Maybe. Get us there. We'll see.
People would even like to see it as something more.
I guess because they knew about the something more part and the fact that it's Peep specifically involved in this scheme does suggest that, you know, the infection did in fact spread, but, you know, in the moment, of course, yeah. I went all to ride on Bill's shoulders. You know, fair. Sure, okay. I mean, if you talk about reluctant protagonists, yeah, honestly, Bill would have probably also worked in this scenario. Although, I guess, because Paul was, you know, the one who took the initiative here, it puts him like a step above in terms of, you know, that role. Oh, this is the bridge Paul with Glover's. Oh, okay, Ben Bridges. I like that. Let's get him a song. That is true. That is true because, yeah, I mean, yeah, neither Bill nor Ted really get a song to themselves, do they? Or in, you know, or maybe a duet between the pair of them. Bill and Ted duet, without the obvious, you know, Bill and Ted franchise comparison there.
Paul? You made it! We made it!
Yep, the audience know, and immediately it kicks in. So yeah, here the music coming late works, like I said.
I'm sorry.
And also as well, John Madison definitely nails the idea of like Paul being, you know, like that Paul sounded like somewhat unconfident in the vocals, but actually this like more like angelic, more soothing method suggests more apotheosis. So the reverse of what we said earlier. Bill and Ted's excellent duet. Right. Well, if we do this thing, that's definitely making it in there. And all the behind the scenes if we end up doing this will be on members because we've had that activated. We haven't done anything with it for a long time.
Sorry, lost your way.
Oh, it's scaring me.
But what if I told you I made it, and this is the life that I chose? Would you even believe it? Am you believe in ghosts? What if I told you a story that settled all the dust until the man you trust? It's inevitable.
Get away from me. You're not Paul. You're one of them.
Before I had
Oh, there's the head swivel again. The head spin that BB likes so much. Where are these two actually? I've been left on my own, like Emma.
no ambition,
No, you aren't.
and now my life is on. Don't you want to see me happy? have to sing to survive. We must go on with the show.
You know, having to sing to survive, actually, I would have loved a scene in Guardian of Musicals where Paul has to pretend to be infected in order to like get to the meteor in the first place.
Insane.
And if has come a long way in the last 7 years. I wonder what it sounds like in this song now. That's true, and Virginity Rotsu is fantastic. I wasn't like trying to set up as a dig at John Madison's vocals, because, you know, I'm just saying that the character doesn't sound confident. I'm not saying that the actor wasn't. That might be the case, but I don't know. I didn't want to speculate on that one.
Never fall to know what I want now. Know what you want now. Yeah, I want you to join the party. Are you going to tip me? It's your cup of coffee. Look at the fun we're having already. What? I know my call and you can do the same now. Put your words to lyrics and you're playing the game now. It's all there is and all there ever was. Ever let me puke in your mouth and just suck in your thing, girl. You can't join the high.
You know, I reckon if Aiden was still here, he would have said something of that line. But anyway.
And show me your hands, show me those jazz hands. Get 'em up, pull your shit out of luck.
I kind of just forgotten that Emma's around right now. They're just too invested. That's the Hive Mind's biggest weakness. They get too invested in their own music. That's why Paul escaped so many times. They just kept on doing dance numbers and let him flee.
I want to say that happened in the original too, though.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying just here. Yeah, but
Or am I inclined to play my string?
Nice.
The heart is too free. Happiness is guaranteed. If you just never watch, show stop the number. With Emma front and center, a kick like this and never to fall. What if I told you a story? How the world became peaceful and just. It wasn't never to fall, never to fall, never to fall. The apotheosis is upon us.
Yeah, that line definitely was better half spoken. You know what? I think I've worked out the issue with this version of Paul, where original Paul, according to what to what the chat is saying here, was, you know, a more confident actor than a singer, and therefore more in the character, and that came about. This Paul seems to be much more confident in singing than in acting, or at least much more proficient in one in singing versus acting, and that's the balance you don't want for Paul. You know, given the two alternatives. Even though I like the soothing voice better for this scene, still would go with the original on that in that aspect. Yeah. How do you hope Starkey's vastly larger their vastly larger budget? Try saying that 5 times fast. Vastly larger budget. Vastly larger budget. Vastly larger budget. Vastly larger budget. In the current staging, any particular props or sets you're hoping for? Puppets. Well, puppets, I would say. For a guy who didn't like musicals, I don't think they would need any puppets, right?
I mean, true. I don't need any like puppets or changes in sets and all that. I do hope they get the Black Book and summon the sillies for real, though.
But why would they in Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals?
Because, you know, why not? Why not?
Because who's going to introduce that? Mayor Lord has probably been infected. Like, he was probably one of the first. You know,
no, I said for real. I didn't mean the characters.
Okay, all right, sure. But again, if they summon the sillies from the Black Book, one of them is causing this mess. They're not going to want to help. If they summon Webby, that'd be a different story. We were talking about that earlier, actually.
Webby's best girl.
I would say
Webby So you missed this actually. Somebody said earlier we need a new musical. That's like the end point where God, I'm trying to find the comment now. Yeah, here we go. We Timmy's going when Miss Holloway and Webby join forces to weave the timelines together and beat this place once and for all. I said include Hannah in that as a third main character and be an unstoppable trio, and Lex is and Lex is, you know, an obstacle, but she wants to help, but she really feels like Hannah is way too involved, especially for her age. Like she wants to be the protective sister, so she joins up with Peep as a result of that, realizing like her powers, and comes in as last line of defense. Then we mentioned like a Bill and Ted duet. We've been like cooking up ideas basically.
I'm pretty sure I will look at Star Kids live stream a while ago, and they did mention they had like a Miss Holloway musical. I don't know if they gave much detail, but they did write a Miss Holloway musical.
Oh man, that's okay. Well, now you said that, because I said that was like a 1,000 subscriber goal. I was like, finally get us that milestone, and then we'll make that, and we'll put the behind the scenes as members only stuff, so we can actually use that feature as well. Now you've said that. Oh, okay, we have to think of something else.
We have to get the members only active again.
Or I guess we don't have Miss Holloway as the we swap out Miss Holloway for Hannah as like the main focus, but still keep the trio. There you go. Yeah. Miss Holloway is the mentor figure in that case.
The problem is, like, we get a bunch of the sillies from, like, the black, right? But there's only one that we know of in the white, and that just feels unrealistic. There has to be other sillies from the white.
Why do you say that?
Because it's a whole dimension that we've seen multiple of for the black, and there's only one for the white. This just feels so unrealistic for there to only be one for the white.
There are billions of people on this earth right now that believe that one deity exists in this dimension. It's not that unreasonable.
Okay, sure, but in this universe, we know that there's multiple, and for some reason, it's entirely disproportionate between the two dimensions that are segmented for unclear reasons.
Unless it's the case that Webby is just so much more powerful than they give her credit for, and she counterbalances all 5 of them at once.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know that we have much to really like have evidence for that, but I guess that'd be interesting if that was the route they went.
There's a Miss Holloway time for the 3rd season, not a musical phobia. Okay, sure, all right, fine. In that case, yeah, but still, I think Hannah being, you know, the main one there. Now that I've said that, and also now that we know that now we know what Tim feels for her, that's also another character to, you know, weave in there. Like the biggest advantage of Hatchetfield, honestly, is like how, you know, how woven in the characters are. Even if they don't all appear, you know, they're still around somewhere. And they still have like all those connections, because a small town, everyone knows each other. So, you know, there's always going to be some form of connection. That's my favorite aspect, I think, of Hatchetfield as a whole.
You know what would be interesting for a musical though? The guy who did like musicals, alternate POV, where you have where you take a bunch of the characters like Grace Chastity and all the other characters who didn't appear in this musical, and just see what they were doing during this time period and see how they all fell.
You've really been on an alternate POV kick recently, I've noticed. That seems to be a new fascination.
I have many fascinations. I'm a man of many talents and many.
Fascination does not mean talent. Let's not get the wires crossed here.
I mean, that is still true. You are a man of many talents, but that's not relevant to this sentence.
Wow.
Also, if you guys haven't seen that, we did react to the entire 3rd season.
Was that the entire 3rd season?
Yep.
Oh, well, in that case, yeah, okay.
That's all of the 3rd season that's been released anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then we have covered the Miss Holloway story, and we also know that, you know, the sillies are essentially portrayed as children in that one. So again, older sibling disciplining the others. The balance makes sense in that aspect as well. Yeah. Yes, the sillies divided, but yeah. Of alternate timelines, giving each one a chance to take the lead in world conquest.
Kind of like the
maybe
kind of like the lauding that happens at like early chronology for like Greek myth, except it's whole timelines instead of just like general like places.
That's true. I guess that does suggest there's a whole entire new trilogy they could do with the other sillies and what their conquests were. But anyway, if we get to 1,000 subscribers, we will make the fan-made conclusion musical we just talked about. I still want that milestone because I'm encouraging people. This is where most of our audience comes from. I'm saying it now. Classic person, like, all right, take a swig in front of the camera. Well, yeah, I know that they all got their moments to shine. Arguably, some of them got more moments than just the one. What I'm saying is, is a trilogy of musicals where they did that kind of thing, because otherwise, it feels unbalanced by like how they were presented, doesn't it? Like if I got told I was just getting a Nightmare Time thing and not a full musical, I'd be pretty annoyed as a silly, honestly. Oh, Jonah Lopez. Any relation? Oh, another Lopez, Professor Hitchens. There you go. Winning recipe, I guess. I think to have someone distraught, beg you for help, and do nothing, even constantly knowing it's not. Yes, but it's also really funny. I know you. Oh, that's it. Okay.
And that's the end of Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, JB production version. Yes.
Exactly. And yeah, definitely definitely an enjoyable ride. Like you can see where they were limited by this kind of thing. But what they couldn't do, even with they were limited beyond Starkey's own limitations, and that was that took away from some of it. But they added a lot more in terms of they added a lot more like nuggets of like a few moments here and there where they like either improvised or they like recontextualized something, or they made like a bit of extra meta commentary on top of it. Enough to definitely recommend to people who are not distracted by follow spots. Constant follow spots. Yeah. That was definitely an unfortunate choice. Much like the BBL thing was also an unfortunate choice.
I'll tell you right now,
I don't like the BBL choice at all. There's no justifying that.
I think most musical fans will probably be fine and be able to ignore the follow spot, because most musical fans can't afford to go see musicals live, which means most musical fans are watching slime tutorials, which are not professionally done.
Yeah, sure, but do all the slime tutorials also have intense follow spots? Like it feels like a case of you will take our follow spots and you will. If it's
not a professionally done thing, then yes, probably.
Yeah, but it's also a case you will take our follow spots and in all their intensity, and you will like them because you have no other option. That doesn't feel justified in my mind. That sure that they won't actively complain about it, but there are alternatives, and we did see that they had access to other forms of lighting. It's not like that was the only thing they were able to pull off necessarily.
Yeah, but when you're watching a slime story, you don't get to be picky.
Okay, but what? Okay, but why? But why wouldn't you? Is my point is that you don't get to be picky, but if people are providing those, that's the thing. That if it's an easy solution, then it feels like
not
something
everyone
that's
has like a multi-$100,000 camera to afford to be able to get all the crisp lighting down and get the right angles and yada yada. Like that's too much.
I'm not talking about camera quality or angles. The lighting specifically comes from the from the venue themselves and what's in the technical script.
Yeah, and then it has to be and then it has to be translated through the camera.
Okay, sure, but that's not something that the lighting team are able to account for. I mean, I feel like even if the follow spot were in crisp quality here, you would still have that have the issue of, even if it wasn't I thought was that just lack of variety. That's the other thing.
I mean, they could have said
that's something that you don't need to get picky on in terms of camera quality. Remember where films started from. There's some things way back in the day in terms of even silent films and such that have much more variety than they have any right to, and the camera quality is disastrous because they had nothing else. You couldn't be picky about that aspect, but you could work within those to provide something much more major as a result, which is they could have done it.
I'll tell you one, Frederick. There's one out there for for a musical, and that musical has an English album, but it never got an English show until many, many years later, which was, I think, a year or two ago in the UK. Despite the fact that its English commentary is mostly about American politics, whatever.
So did someone someone like tap on the English album version on top of a foreign version of the show?
Yeah, so it came out
Fantastic.
in Japan for a while, which means the only way to get a proper showing, unless you have the money to go see it in the UK exclusively when it's showing, is you have to go watch a video of them stamping on the album awkwardly onto a Japanese showing of it.
Which is also where, if you have any knowledge of audio editing, you can definitely work on that in post and, like increase that. But, most average people wouldn't, wouldn't think to do that at first. That being said, you just reminded me of something that happened to me literally yesterday. So I've been waiting with bated breath for Miraculous Season 6 to come out on Disney Plus. And so now that I realize it as he is on there, after I stopped checking for it, it's just like, oh, hey, 8 whole episodes. Fantastic. And the one that, like, the last one that I watched last night is one where, without giving too many spoilers away, there is a character in that one who does a solo performance. And so it's a new original song. Here's the thing. For people who don't know, because whenever I start watching a show, I will always actively either wait for the version that I like first was presented with it, or I will or seek it out. Which means that if I started watching a show in Spain and I watched therefore the Spanish dub, I'm going to want to wait for that. So there I was watching Miraculous in Spanish, and suddenly the character starts singing in English. Now that's been known to happen in other shows, but honestly, with very few exceptions, Miraculous dubs all of their songs. So that felt weird to me. But here's the weirder part. Because of how it's moved from studios being focused in France to Portugal now, there's no French version of this song either. But all the senior staff are still the French crew, but yet they have no French version of this song for a show that used to be French. And I love that. Because I switched the dubs, I was like, wait a second. And also, the first episode, season 6, is not available in French. It's so weird.
The team who handled the technical end of its distribution is real weird, man. I'll say that reminds me, if you go to watch The Walking Dead, the first few seasons, if you turn on captions, I gotta tell you, I've never seen a show with worse captions than The Walking Dead. It's really inaccurate a lot of times.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Sometimes they'll be saying something and then they'll have the caption. I'm like, not only is that wrong, but it gives the wrong idea of the point they were making too.
Yeah, I have noticed a couple of things that that from the few times that I have put the show on in French as a comparison point, because that's sometimes what I do, where it's like, that was a bit of a weird line. What's the English version of that? Oh, that's what they say in English. What will they say in French? So I just sometimes I'll just constantly be rewinding on Disney Plus and switching the language to compare. Which is how I found out that a normal girl with a normal life is not in the original version, and that's one of the main complaints people have about the show, is that her life is not normal. It's like, well, guess what? She never said that. Dubisms. They're a very fascinating subject for me, and not for many other people.
They're putting words in her mouth. How dare they?
They are literally putting words up. You're right, exactly. That's a good way of looking at it. But yeah, to go back to this particular point, the difference between slime tutorials and this kind of musical thing is that this is a licensed production anyway, that of a production that made its first big waves on YouTube anyway. So no one is trying to sneakily record anything, and also even the slime tutorials, the person recording them is not normally responsible for lighting cues either, because they don't have control over that. The lighting cues are the same as they would be for, their productions either way. So in this case, yeah, I'm not sure of whether or not they would have needed specialized lighting cues for the filming nights. That's a good idea. that's something they could have done. But you know, in the case of like how most musicals are recorded, usually you don't get those. But most musicals, again, like you have like a little bit of variety. The thing about lighting that someone told me once is that the true goal of lighting is to make it not seem like it's there, and the constant follow spot always seemed like it was there. Especially because through lack of variety, we knew what to look out for. So that's the main thing. Even if it weren't filmed, even if it was like a live performance, I would have said the exact same thing.
I guess as an inverse to the short you sent me earlier today, which has a very famous set of quotes in it, which was, I'm going to skip the context. I'm just going to skip straight to the quotes because most of you have probably heard it, right? Where is someone complains, where's the lighting from? Director says, it's same place where music's coming from, right? Now,
yes.
With here, it was very much like it was a nighttime scene like Lord of the Rings or whatever. Now, the thing is, most people aren't going to make that complaint because in most situations, right, the lighting's like the blue is there because that simulates.
So to provide a little bit of context, the short that I sent BB earlier was to do with the fact that there was blue lighting to symbolize the nighttime rather than, you know, the pitch darkness that you would see in something like Game of Thrones. Speaking of which, I have a comment about Game of Thrones in a second. But that was the comparison to, you know, where is the lighting coming from? The same place the music is coming from, which is the ether. But it's for our convenience as the audience watching something, you know, from a cinematic perspective. So that's the context that's, you know, you're missing out on here as far as why BB's mentioning the blue.
I just didn't think that it was necessary. Honestly, I thought people would
not
fill
for
in the
me.
blanks.
If you just say the blue, out of the blue,
the bluer. But no, the idea that I was getting to was the thing of like, oh, make sure it's not noticeable. In most cases, people don't complain not because they don't want to. I'm sure if they were consciously thinking about it, they might, but like they aren't, because in most cases, the people doing the lighting are usually pretty talented, and so it's usually close enough to how you would illustrate the idea of this thing in a way that kind of tricks us into saying, oh yeah, this feels right. There's nothing odd about this, when it's like 50 lights surrounding this crew.
Yeah, and there's sometimes where the lighting is in fact stylistic, especially in musicals, but you know, the stylistic lighting, you know, again, has more of a variety and more of a symbolism behind it. So yeah. Hold on a second. Was there Love Island shows forbid recording and certainly uploading, but Starkid actually encouraged it? Well, yeah, like, of course they do. It's Starkid.
We could go on for like 3 more hours about the distribution, about musicals and plays, but
yeah.
it's
so
wonky.
Okay, but you know, but I would have mentioned my Game of Thrones comment, because now that I brought it up, I actually realized something today. So my brother and I have never watched Game of Thrones until literally 2 days ago when we started, and
Sure.
we were in the middle of I think it was episode 3. And it was a particular point where, you know, the king, or person who's the king at the time, is talking about you know, his first kill and describing it. Basically, you know, he's like a big, you know, long-winded speech about it, you know, regaling his wartime stories and all of that. And then he just says a line where he just goes, "They never tell you how they poop themselves." And I was like, wait, they don't put those in the songs. Chuckles says that. I recognize the quote because of this clown. That's the one line from Game of Thrones I found out was one that I thought was originally invented by Mikey Kilder, because I didn't know it was a reference.
It's all coming
So
together.
I was just there, unable to contain myself, like quoting the line while my brother was watching along, knowing that I also have not seen the show. Like, what is happening here?
Your Oracle powers went on overload.
It wasn't even Oracle powers. It was all Chuckles.
Yeah,
it was all Chuckles' fault.
It was Chuckles all along. It's the two of you coming from different spheres altogether and just converging at this one point.
Yeah, I guess so. Much like the timelines of Hatchetfield. Good lord. I've had a lot of interesting watch stories in the past 24 hours, apparently. But back to this.
Do you have your own form of measurement for him?
No, but perhaps I should. Anyway, so back to this thing that I've just watched in the last 24 hours. Yeah, the other issue, of course, not so much in this act, but a little bit of a few bits here and there. I would say Paul and Emma's performances seem a bit too normal, like even by the standards of them being like the normal people in comparison, because it took away their uniqueness a bit to make them as reserved as they were. They were already appropriately enough. Especially, this is actually something that happened with them with Back to the Future. By the way, people don't know Michael J. Fox was not the first choice for playing Marty McFly. There was actually an actor named Eric Stoltz who people dispute how much filming he actually did of the first one, but they realized that he was like being way too dramatic as performance. He was almost too good in that. So he was too normal. And so when they got Michael J. Fox around, like still notice how many times he has the bug-eyed moments there, like how many times like that gets a laugh from people. They were going for something a bit funnier. And so, they brought on somebody who was over in the middle of filming a movie at the same time. And, he was constantly tied on set for both of them. But it worked out, I guess. Unless your name was Eric Stoltz, in which case it did not work out. But, aside from that. So it feels a bit like that, where we've gone, instead of going from Eric Stoltz to Michael J. Fox, we've instead gone from Michael J. Fox to Eric Stoltz. Times 2, because it was affecting both of them.
I'm surprised
Bill
they didn't
done that
just
a
go
couple
for
of times,
the.
but mostly.
I'm surprised they didn't just go for the Jim Carrey route.
Well, Jim Carrey acting normal is always is always a little distracting as well. No, not really his fault to a certain extent.
But to be fair, if you guys have seen like actual interviews of him where he's like not being super wacky and zany, like normal Jim Carrey is very existential. He's expressed many very nihilistic views of the world. So take your poison, either campy and very cartoony, or man, none of this really matters, does it? So
yeah, like if anything, that weirds out even more people. So, I don't think he can win in that scenario, to be honest. Filming a sitcom, Family Ties. I thought it was filming Teen Wolf at the same time, like the movie Teen Wolf, not the show. Speaking of that, another thing that I didn't realize, for some reason, because I looked up after someone told me that K-pop Demon Hunters was not a show and it was actually a movie. I looked it up to confirm, and I saw that Arden Cho was one of the main characters in that. And I know that Arden Cho is actually in the show Teen Wolf, but I know her from Agents of Secret Stuff, the Ryan Higa movie from 2010 that's on YouTube.
What? Oh.
Wait, do you want to watch Agents of Secret Stuff one time? We can definitely do that one week because it's on YouTube.
Will that be taken down though?
It's a YouTube video from the. I don't think it will. I doubt it very much.
If it's not paid on YouTube, then it's probably fine.
Well, I mean, we've got
unless you're Smosh.
Yeah, so yeah, I will say, Anthony Padilla and Ian Hecox are actually in the movie, but they didn't produce it, so
Okay, I was about to say you said that, and I got nervous for a second there.
But no. So yeah, fair enough then. So okay. Well, I think that was everything, because the other performances definitely kind of bounced. That Hitchens was different, but also identifiable. More cartoonish, but also a bit as Aiden pointed out, nasally nerdy, which might have been a bit of a detractor. So I feel like again that's struck a balance. We got the Jeff Blim energy from the actor who played all the Jeff Blim characters.
Yeah, I mean,
we got a surprisingly good Charlotte as well.
Well,
That's
yeah,
just what I can remember off my head.
Hitchens requires some getting used to, but like I can appreciate that it is like a different take,
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't it doesn't feel undercooked in the way that like some of the other characters do. It just feels different.
Yeah, as much as we've compared this to the original, that's just because but when we talk about like the comparisons, it's either said like, oh yeah, I love what they did here, and they move on because we don't want to pause too much because people complain about that. Or it's a case of, you know, like I referenced them in a case of, well, the change that they made here isn't as effective, and here is why. Like they might have missed out on, and why they shouldn't have made the change that they did. You know, not necessarily saying like, you know, everything needs to be identical. It's just certain things that have been made worse that you wanted to that we would have wanted to have stayed the same. And of course, other stuff that would have changed in either version, because I mentioned that earlier. So yeah, and the bigger picture aspect of it sometimes was advantageous, sometimes wasn't. In terms of one thing I would definitely recommend as an easy fix in the future for something for JB Productions is that don't only just film it. If you know you're gonna have one camera and it's gonna be filmed at the back, have something to maybe like record the audio like at the front as well, like maybe not even like some sort of like tape down mic, maybe like or whatever that you could do, so that way you can actually mix those, you know, together and put them up in post.
Actually, I would personally say get as close as you can with the camera.
Also true, but based on like the lack of entrance area that we had for the army bit, I'm not sure if they could with the camera closer.
Yeah, because like part of the lighting issue, I cannot stress enough, it is much more of the camera's fault than you might give it credit for. Like it being so far away is going, first off, it was grainy in the first place, which tells me they zoomed it in, which doesn't do anything for quality. But also, being further away means it's trying to make estimates and fill in the blanks for a lot more than if it was having a much more wider range according to the camera's view itself.
Yeah, that's fantastic. My complaint about the follow spot isn't limited to just the camera quality. Like, it's a factor, but you know, again, it's the lack of variety that you know adds on to that. Like it was both of those things.
I just think it would be solved for the most part if you're closer.
As far as the camera positioning goes, it's a lesser of two evils in the sense of, because if the only end, because they always have to enter from somewhere, and usually in that situation you enter from either one side, or that's where the doors are, or both sides, which means the camera can only go in the corners if it wants to not block any of the audience members' views, or behind them for the same reason. So they had to make a compromise there. I suppose they could have had somebody operating it and zooming in potentially as they're going on, similarly to how they had someone operate the follow spot, because that's how they do it.
See, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, is this just a random person who's recording, or is it someone that they specifically requested? Because if it's someone they requested, they could have made space for them. But like, how did this get made?
Usually when it comes to theater, you either like request for someone to do that, or like you mount it up yourselves. Like that's how, like, the only version of Siren Story that exists is like the ones that I did, but I filmed off the dress rehearsal, where either I was like in people's face as much as I could do without like blocking them, or I was at the back. It's not a complete version, that's why I haven't released it. But yeah, speaking of musicals, get us 1,000 subscribers, and we'll and if you remember by that time, actually, I'll specify. If someone remind us if we get there and we haven't, that you know we'll work on that fan musical, because why not? It'd be a great celebration for that. But yeah, in the meantime, let us know your thoughts, means of liking or disliking, and leaving your comments on things I missed out on, or your favorite aspects of, you know, of this musical compared to the original, or things you might feel they could have improved that we haven't touched on. But in the meantime, we'll see you all soon enough in another Butter Bunch video. Toodle pip.